Welcome to the world of probiotic foods. This is Cultured Food Life with your host, Donna Schwenk.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the podcast today. And we are talking about coconut water kefir, which is one of my favorite things to drink in the summertime and any time of the year, really. But for some reason, I really, really like it in the summertime. And I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to spend it with me. And I hope that it helps you. I do these podcasts and my blogs and everything that I put on my website and my books to help inspire you to live, to add these foods to your diet, to your life. And the more information you get, the more you wire and fired in your brain to make these new connections about these probiotic foods that most people don't really know about. But I hope that since there are not a lot of people talking about it, although it's growing in popularity, eating cultured foods or fermented foods, it's really exciting to me to see it growing, for people to be adding them to their diets and into their life. And the more I can encourage you to do that, which is why I do these podcasts, the more you'll understand the benefits, the more you'll want to do it. And the easier I can make it for you, the more you'll encourage your other friends and families to do it too. And then you change who you are, because you're going to feel better. You're going to feel healthier. You're going to replace some of the things in your diet with these healthier foods. And it changes for you, just like it did for me, which allowed me to not only feel better, but to feel younger, to have more energy. And then when I changed me, everybody around me started changing. And that's kind of how it works. You got to change yourself first. And so I want to encourage you to drink this special drink, because not only is it super good for you, and I'm going to get into the benefits of it, it is so easy to make. So coconut water is one of my very favorite drinks. And you make coconut water kefir with water kefir crystals. And wow, is it fantastic. It's bubbly, it's tangy, it's delicious. But water kefir crystals are different than milk kefir grains. Milk kefir grains are like little pieces of cauliflower, they're a little bit white in color, but they're rubbery. And you make them to make milk kefir. You can make non-dairy milk kefir with them. But water kefir crystals, and by the way, milk kefir grains are not grains at all. I mean, they aren't related to the wheat family. That's just a name they gave them. But we call these things that you make coconut water kefir crystals. And they're tinier, they're translucent, they're kind of clear, and they multiply like crazy. And they look very different than milk kefir grains. And so we call them water kefir crystals, which helps differentiate them between the two so you don't get super confused about what you're making. So, and you can get them, you can get them online. You can get them from me. I sell them at my store. You can get them from people who have them because they grow like crazy. And, or you can, often some health food stores will have them. Haven't seen that too often. Most of the time you usually find them online, but they're wonderful and they're fun and easy to make. Just make sure you get them from a reputable source. And usually, you can tell right away, they'll start making you kefir. And if your drink stays flat and stays sweet, then you know they're not working, that the bacteria and the good yeast are dead. And if it gets tart and bubbly, then you know it's working. So that's a great way to do it. Okay, so coconut water, which is different than coconut milk, they're two different things. Coconut water is the clear liquid found inside a young green coconut. It is loaded with essential nutrients for the body. It has vitamins, minerals, amino acids, organic acids, enzymes, antioxidants, and a lot of other compounds that are really good for you. Coconut water by itself is a wonderful beverage, and it is more beneficial when you make it into coconut water kefir, because then you load it with probiotics. So I want to check out all these benefits that you're going to get. And then we're going to make a jar of this amazing drink, and you're going to love it. And it's fun and easy to make. So here are some of the benefits of coconut water kefir. Many years ago, well, not many years ago, actually, not when my husband was a little bit younger than he is now, for many, many years, he had his own roofing business. And he had a lot of crews. And he was, for many years, he had worked for his uncle until he started his own business. But he would get dehydrated out in the sun because he would drink so much water that he wouldn't take back the electrolytes he needed. And it kind of explained it like this. If you put salt into a bucket of water and you put a hose into it and you keep that hose running, eventually all the salt's going to come out of that bucket. Well, it was the same with him when he was, roofing. He would get dehydrated. He would drink water all day long, but he wouldn't have any salt or minerals that he was drinking. So not only was he sweating, but he wasn't replenishing them. And eventually he would drink so much that he would lose all his minerals. And I could always tell when he was dehydrated because his voice would get kind of scratchy and his eyes would look different. And on many occasions, he would get muscle cramps. It wasn't good. And so he learned to, replace those missing minerals, electrolytes that he needed to keep his body running strong when he was dehydrated. And one of the things that he noticed was a lot of the guys on his crew drank coconut water. And they said it was much better for them than like Gatorade that had chemicals and dyes in it. And so Ron would do that too. And he found that it really helped him because of the massive amounts of minerals and vitamins that were in that drink. And it's just a powerhouse of a drink. And I didn't really know much about it until some of those days occurred when he would get dehydrated. And since that time, Ron has learned to take a lot of minerals, especially when he sweats or does anything. We have some Body Ecology sells ancient earth minerals, and we sell them in our store to people. Those, he's never gotten a cramp. He's never gotten dehydrated again as long as he takes those and coconut water. And a lot of times coconut water kefir he takes to work. He's never had those experiences again because he's learned how to keep his body well hydrated, full of electrolytes. And he's done it in a really healthy way. So if that helps anybody, coconut water is a wonderful benefit for that. Now, here's another thing that you may not know that, and I've heard quite a bit about this, but because of the high potassium content in coconut water, it makes it a really effective remedy for kidneys. It helps with kidney stones. It helps with calcium crystal stones that can form in the kidney and travel through the urinary system. It really helps diminish that because of the potassium content that we all need so much. We all need a lot of potassium in our diets. One glass of coconut water contains about, I think it was 600 milligrams of potassium. And we need like 4,700 milligrams a day. And it helps to keep everything in balance. Potassium and salt and all of these different minerals that contain the salt that contains minerals. Like if you get good salt with lots of minerals in it, it can have over 80 plus minerals in it. So your body needs salt and potassium and they balance each other out. And when one gets off balance, the other one struggles. And coconut water has a lot. And it's hard to find foods that have a lot of potassium in them. That's one thing that almost everybody is deficient in, is potassium. And coconut water is full of it. And especially coconut water kefir, because coconut water kefir has probiotics, which helps you absorb your minerals and your vitamins more effectively. Another thing that coconut water kefir is really good for is it has anti-anxiety properties in it. It actually contains GABA, a neurotransmitter that has a very relaxing anti-anxiety and anti-convulsion impact on the body. And it contains so many vitamins. It has vitamin C, B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B7, and even B9. All of those B vitamins are very calming to the adrenals and to the nervous system, along with magnesium. All of those vitamins and minerals really relax the body and keep it in a healthy balance, which we deplete ourselves of these B vitamins very rapidly when we're under stress. And all of those things support the adrenals. They support our body and keep us calm and keep us well-rounded. And so when we're missing those, we need to get them from our food on a regular basis, especially when we're under stress. And coconut water contains that. So it helps support the adrenals, and it really does help keep the body in balance. Another study that was done, I think it was in 2005, they took 28 hypertensive subjects who drank coconut water daily for 2 weeks. And they both showed a reduction in systolic pressure, which was 71% reduced, and diastolic pressure, which was 29% reduced in those subjects who drank coconut water. And the subjects who just drank the water didn't show any improvements. But the 28 patients who had problems with their blood pressure all had a reduction especially in their systolic pressure, which is so important to keep your blood pressure down and to keep yourself healthy. And we're always looking for ways to do that. And so they're doing more and more studies on this. And I wish they would do it on coconut water kefir, because I think that would be even more effective, because often problems in the gut can lead to high blood pressure problems. And I have seen that over again and again and again with milk kefir. That really keeps my blood pressure low, keeps me balanced. And I have heard it from so many people. 1 out of 3 people, it is very effective in helping to reduce blood pressure. And that's milk kefir. But there haven't been the studies on water kefir for this, but I'm hopefully in the near future there will be, because although they've tested it on just the coconut water kefir, coconut water, that actually showed reductions in blood pressure, but they haven't done the studies on the coconut water kefir. So in either regards, they're both good for you. And it's a great drink to add to your life, especially if you struggle with hypertension. So there's another food to add to your diet that is delicious to drink and to make. It's fun, and it helps keep your body in balance. Coconut water also has some anti-aging components in it. Those cytokines, they're a class of phytohormones, and they have found that the cytokines show significant anti-aging, the ones that are in coconut water. They also have an anti-carcinogenic effect, and they also can help for things like with strokes. They found that is also another very effective way to add this drink to your diet, because it has so many components to it that aren't really understood. And I'm going to put the research links in the description below, or you can go to my website and you can read more about this if you want to see the studies. And one of the cytokines that was in it, Kinetin, was found to have strong anti-aging effects on the human skin. So not only was it calming to the different organs in the body, it was also effective on the skin. And I love coconut oil to put on my skin. I think it has an anti-aging effect. I think all things that have anything to do with coconut have been a very helpful thing to my life. I think I did another podcast on coconut oil and all the things that it could do. And it's a fantastic addition to your diet if you can do it, because so far we've got anti-anxiety, controls high blood pressure, anti-aging, helps the kidneys. And one of the other things that I really want to talk about that we have actually used in our life is that it helps control candida. Coconut water also contains caprylic acid, which is an antifungal fatty acid. And that is a very important part of bringing candida back into the body, into its rightful place. And that's one of the reasons we started drinking coconut water kefir, is because we first started Cultured Foods. Coconut water kefir was one of my daughter Macy's favorite drinks. And she had a lot of candida issues, and we found that this really helped bring that back into balance, along with the other probiotic foods we were eating. And it was one of the reasons we started drinking it, because we found it so effective, because it seemed to like when she would drink it, it would cut her appetite for, anything that was processed or wasn't good for her. It really changed her taste buds a lot. But I think it was due to the massive amount of probiotics and the vitamins and the minerals that are in coconut water. And it really helps restore a healthy yeast balance to the body, because what happens is if you don't have enough good bacteria in your gut, candida will outgrow its bounds and take over and crowd out the bacteria that's supposed to be in your gut. And when it does that, then we got problems, because candida is only supposed to be in small amounts in your body. It helps to digest heavy metals that your regular digestive system cannot handle. So it's an important component of your body, but it should be in small amounts. And so let's say, for instance, you've taken an antibiotic and that wipes out all the good and the bad bacteria in your body. Well, if you don't replenish that good bacteria right away, then candida yeast or other harmful yeast will take over, crowd it out. So then it's really hard for the bacteria to reestablish themselves in your gut, because the yeast are just crowding them out. And every time you take them or you eat these probiotic foods or you're not getting enough of healthy foods, the candida's crowded it out. You can't rebuild it. So it's really important that you keep your gut in balance. And we really don't know what's going inside of us all the time. We don't really know that there's a universe down there. And it's really interesting how it works. Okay, for instance, yeast in your body, everybody's competing for dominance in your gut. The bacteria, the yeast, everybody's trying to basically take over that area and that space in your gut, which I think it weighs about 3 pounds. And so yeast, what they do, they shoot at each other with like a liquid substance. It's kind of like a shootout in the old corral. And they try to kill each other so that whoever has the most strains and is the strongest will win and occupy that area of your body. And, we want to balance. We don't want to eliminate. I mean, honestly, you don't want to eliminate Candida altogether because there is a purpose for it. Everything has a purpose. I've seen that more and more. The more research I do on bacteria, like, for instance, people will want to wipe out H. pylori because they're getting ulcers. But then when they wipe out, completely get rid of it, then they have problems with acid reflux because that helps to keep that at bay. So even though you don't want an abundance of H. pylori, you want little amounts. You don't want to completely eliminate it because then you get other problems. And it's the same with Candida. You need tiny amounts of it. You just don't need huge amounts of it. And the only way to keep that in balance is to have a lot of good bacteria, which dominates your gut and keeps everything in its rightful place. And, it's really interesting. We aren't aware that this is going on all day long while we're doing our thing. But we'll get, digestive problems. We'll have these other problems that are going on. That's kind of alerting us. It's like the warning sign, the signal that something's misaligned in our bodies and we need to rebalance things. And 9 times out of 10, if you rebalance your gut flora, most of these problems go away. It's just a fascinating world down there that we're completely unaware of. And yet it's working on our behalf every day. And there's hundreds of trillions of good bacteria and yeast inside of you doing this 24 hours a day, unbeknownst to you. And so when you start to take a look at what you're eating, what you're drinking, and the things you're adding, probiotic foods are just a win-win because they will help to bring balance to the body by building up the good bacteria in your gut that will keep everything in its proper place inside of you. Coconut water is just, I love it. It's such a refreshing taste. That's why I really like it. It makes me think I'm living on an island, which I love going anywhere where there's water. And it's just so easy to make. It has a freshness to it. And it does have a very calming effect on me, I have to say. There is just something about it. I think I actually wrote a blog about a love affair with coconut water kefir because, and I'll put that in the link description below, but it is just a fantastic drink. My friends and family seem to enjoy it. It's super easy to make, and you can use these water kefir crystals to make it, and you can actually make it with My Culture Easy Kefir, although it looks different when you use that package because it's more milk-based than it is non-dairy based. And I actually like the water kefir crystals better. The best way I can just describe it is it's soothing. It's calming to my central nervous system. It's refreshing. It's light. It tastes kind of like a summer drink. And my favorite way to have it is to ferment it and then squeeze some lime or lemon into it. And I don't know if it's the abundance of potassium, magnesium, or probiotics or extra vitamins and minerals, but I'm really grateful for what it does to me. And I like to create my own calm through the foods and beverages I consume. And then I like to enjoy and have other people enjoy them too. It's really, really fun for me because people will say, oh, it's so delicious. And it's just a unique taste. And I can't wait for you to try it. So if you use water kefir crystals to make coconut kefir, I want to tell you one little thing that I've noticed. Coconut water can be a little bit hard on the water kefir crystals, I have noticed, if they're continually left in coconut water. So what I do is I switch them back and forth from their regular sugar-based thing that you make. Usually you make water kefir with either juices or with sugar, and you let them eat the sugar out. The sugar's not for you, remember that. It's for the yeast and the bacteria that are in these cultures, and they eat them and they turn it into probiotics. So what I recommend is switching back to feeding the coconut, or just the water kefir crystals, switching back to their regular diet for a couple of times. And then you can start making coconut water kefir again. It's good for them, maybe like every couple of feedings. First of all, water kefir crystals like to be fed a lot. They're hungry little monsters. And it takes about 2 days to make a batch of regular water kefir, whereas coconut water kefir ferments very fast within a day. And so that's one of the reasons I like it so much, is because I can just stick them in a jar and put some water kefir crystals in there with coconut water. That's all you're doing, is adding really 2 ingredients, and then letting it ferment. Put a cloth and a rubber band on it and let it ferment for a day to 2 days until it tastes tart and you see it bubbly, and then it's ready. And you'll see it. It's a good idea to test it and taste it. And once you can't taste that sugary taste anymore, because coconut water has a little bit of its own sugar in it, it's done. And it usually ferments faster than regular water kefir, which is really fun to make too, if you guys are interested in that. And it tastes delicious, and it's low in calories but high in probiotics. And it does include a wide array of beneficial strains of bacteria and good yeast. And it really can dominate the types of drinks you have, because so many people, I'm just so excited that more and more people are not drinking, these carbonated beverages anymore that are filled with fructose corn syrup. I'm just excited to see more and more people are turning to these probiotic sodas and replacing in their diet, because fructose corn syrup and these soda pop drinks have really wreaked havoc on our health. They've been hard on our thyroids. They're not good for the body in general, because there's just too much sugar, and especially fructose corn syrup is really hard on you. And this is delicious. It's a great alternative. It kind of recreates your taste bud because there's less sugar in it. Most of the sugar is gone, and it helps you to really feel satisfied and not need those sugary drinks anymore. And it's great for kids. It's great for teenagers. I mean, I loved that when my kids started to drink these types of things like kombucha and water kefir. They would take them to their classes that they went to, like dance class and drama class. And lo and behold, before too long, some of the other kids were drinking them. And it was exciting to me to see see them change over from bringing in their, huge 32-ounce sodas to drinking water kefir and kombucha. It was exciting to me because the teenagers really need it. They need the electrolytes too, especially because, kids are developing so fast and they're growing so fast, and they use up a lot of their, nutrients in sports or what have not. But it really has made a tremendous difference in my family's life. And I think you'll love it. I think once you get some water kefir crystals, they'll last forever if you take care of them. And they just multiply like crazy. So be prepared for that. I've got other things you can do with water kefir crystals, but I stick them in my smoothies and blend them up. And then all those beneficial probiotic strains go into my body and live forever. So but they do grow rapidly, and you will love it. You will love to make them, and you can just make a batch of soda in a day or two, and you can bottle it, keep it in your fridge, and then your kids can have something healthy that I think they'll really like. So when the coconut water kefir, so basically you're just taking you can buy coconut water at your health food store, or you can get it straight from a young green coconut, and make it yourself. They have them in Tetra Paks. They have them in cans, the coconut water. And there's just so many different types out there that you can buy. And I've tried a lot of them. They're really good. One thing you want to check is the expiration date on some of them, because there was in the very beginning, we drank a lot of it. And there was one that I think the coconut water had gotten older and it made it kind of slimy. So that was the only thing but the coconut water was old and I didn't know it. I had expired. So try to get, one that has a good expiration date on it. There's one at Sprouts. If you have a Sprouts near you, that has a really good, I think it's in like a plastic container that's really good. I really like their coconut water. I use that one a lot. But there's a lot of really good brands. I've tried probably 10 or 12 brands and I really liked all of them. And you can tell, as long as they don't add a lot of stuff to them, just check the back of the label and see what the ingredients is. And basically what you do is you get a 4 cups or 3 cups of coconut water, some water kefir crystals, about 1/4 cup of them, put them in a jar, pour your water kefir over it, put a cloth in a rubber band, let it ferment for a day or 2, and you have coconut water kefir. And then all you do is remove the little crystals and put them in some new coconut water or into a different mixture some fruit juice or some the solution that you make to make a different batch of water kefir. And then you can bottle what you have or drink it. And it's really that simple. It's not hard. It's way easier than a lot of other fermented drinks that can be a little more complicated. But that's one of the reasons I like it. That's one of the reasons we drink it. And I hope you like it. I hope you try it. If you do, leave some comments below. We try to answer them. If you want to head over to my website at Cultured Food Life, I've got several recipes. I've got several articles on it. I love to talk about it because I think it's super easy, and I think it'd be something that's fun for you to make. So thanks, guys, for listening. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope to see you next Tuesday, and I hope you'll try some of these foods or even go buy them at the health food stores and give them a whirl and see if you don't feel better and see if you don't infuse your body with billions of probiotics that will help you and help that little universe inside of you thrive and grow. Have a good one, guys, and thanks for listening. I really appreciate it.